During the last episode of the Benning Report, Ron Andruss sat down with wounded warrior Captain Scott Smiley and shared how after sustaining serious injuries following a suicide car bomb, he was able to regain his faith and his life. In this edition, Ron continues the account and explains what Captain Smiley is up to now and how he continues to inspire others.
We received intelligence on what a possible suicide car bomb may look like and the possible location. I spotted this suspicious vehicle. I yelled at him to get out of his vehicle, and he turned his head over his left shoulder and just raised his hands up and shook his head no. The second he let his foot off the brake, I made a decision and I shot 2 rounds in front of his vehicle, and then my world went black.
On April 6, 2005, while serving with the 1st Battalion 24th Infantry Regiment in Mosul, Iraq, Captain Scotty Smiley was severely injured and blinded when a suicide car bomb exploded. After struggling to accept the loss of his eyesight, he made peace with his new challenge and regained his faith.
Though it was slow, that my attitude did take time to recover, that the paralysis in which occurred on the right side of my body, learning how to live as a blind person, it was hard. It was very hard to accept. But again, it was a decision that I had made, that God still had a purpose for me, that God had a plan. And once I made that plan, I could definitely see the road being paved in front of me.
Once the smoke cleared, Scotty's Army training kicked into full gear. He adjusted fire and began to maneuver forward.
The Army mentality helped me through the recovery process after being injured. When things aren't going your way, when things are hurting, when you're in pain, when you're in agony, when you're stressed, guess what? You still have that mission. You still have to do what you're supposed to do. And those feelings did come through my mind when I was injured, when I woke up blind, when I realized that my life had drastically changed. I was still a soldier in the United States Army. I still had a mission. I still had to get better. I still had, in my opinion, men that needed me. That gave me the strength, and that gave me the ability and the willpower to recover that much faster. So it was the training that I received in the Army. It was the training that I definitely received at Ranger School that, hey, sometimes times just don't go your way. But that's not when you sit, cry, moan, bicker about the life that you're being given. It's when you step up and push to the standard and complete the mission to the best of your ability.
That was amazing for me to watch, to see him adapt so quickly to losing his sight. And I remember thinking, this has to be going back to his military training and his ability to adapt and overcome.
Scotty rangered up, got back to work, and took on a new mission. He went back to school and earned his master's in business administration at Duke University, taught leadership at the U.S. Military Academy, commanded his first company, the Warrior Transition Unit in West Point, New York, and is now back at Fort Benning attending the Maneuver Captain's career course.
Hopefully, upon graduation from the career course, I will be a company commander out at Sand Hill, and it'll be my 2nd company command. And again, it will be a great opportunity for me to lead and manage soldiers again.
You know, his decision to stay in the Army, I applaud him for it. I try and put myself in his shoes. What if that happened to me? You know, where would I be? And there's a part of me that wants to say, hey, you know, I'd be just like him, you know. But to have that kind of conviction and really move on, that says a lot about his character.
Guys are going to look at him and say, this guy doesn't give up. This guy does not accept no for an answer. And he really does live the warrior ethos. But more importantly, he never gave up after he was hurt. He never said, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore.
Captain Scotty Smiley's remarkable story is chronicled in his book titled Hope Unseen. He and his wife Tiffany always make time in their already busy schedules to share their story and hope it helps and inspires others.
This is helping people. You know, it's kind of motivation for us to keep sharing and keep going, keep getting out there because people do care and they want to hear it and they need to hear our story. And it's helping them.
I hope my story does inspire folks. You know, if they're willing to read my story, you know, ask me any questions. I love to share, and that's just part of who I am. I'm willing to give anything and everything.
You always look in the Army to build on the good leaders and to take away from the inspirational leaders, so you can keep in the back of your mind every time you go someplace new. You say, okay, that guy did it right. That guy. I liked what he did. I liked his philosophy, his outlook on things. I think the guys that he will be in charge of, I would absolutely fight to have in my company one day. I think he is going to make a difference.
Scotty and Tiffany Smiley set the standard when it comes to faith and inspiration and embody exactly what it means to be Army strong.
We can do anything that we set our minds to, that despite the tragedies or despite the trials, that we can adapt and overcome, and we can be anything that we want to be. Just have to, you know, work hard.
I think it's been a great deal of healing for him to stay in, to still be in the fight, to serve something bigger than himself. He loves it, and it's what he's called to do.
it's so awesome to be, still alive and still be able to live my life.
Ron Andruss, Fort Benning TV.